welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to actually achieve all those goals that you set. So like once you figure out what you want to do this year, how are you going to achieve it? So if you are interested in that, then let's hop right into it. First of all, if you're like, Becca, why are you on the floor? Mostly because I just filmed like 1, 2, 4, 5 videos, and I was sitting up here and I was like, I need a new seat, but I didn't want to move my camera too far, so I just came down here. So secondly, if you are like, I need help with setting my goals, I have a whole video on that, so I will link that below. It is all about like how to actually figure out what you want your goals to be and what you want long-term and what you want short-term, all that stuff. It's basically a whole bunch of questions to ask yourself because I have no idea what your goals should be, but I do know how to like lead you that way. So today we're going to talk about how to actually achieve your goals. So after you've set your goals, how are you going to make sure that you actually do them? And I have a couple of things we're going to talk about, and then 3 really specific points that I'm going to mention to make sure that you know exactly what to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the difference between goals, vision, projects, and resolutions, because they are different. Goals are things that you set, things you want to hit. They're usually big things. They might be really big projects, or they could also be like a money goal, a weight goal, just like big things that you kind of want to hit. They're like those big, it's like a finish line basically, or something like that. So that's, especially right now, you're going to want to set goals for now till the end of the year, and we'll talk more about like what's going to happen with that. Your vision is your long-term picture. So like imagine your picture of like the perfect you in a year, or the perfect whatever life in 5 years. That's your vision, and that is important because your vision helps you figure out what your goals are. Projects are things you are actually doing and things you are working on to get you towards your goal. So you might have a goal that is a big project, so you might want like a really big product line or something like that, but you might also have projects that are just things you're checking off in order to hit something. So like if you have an income goal, then your projects would be, I'm going to make this product, and I'm going to send this email, and I'm going to, you know, make these videos to help me get to that income goal. And then your resolutions are things you want to either start or stop doing. So like a resolution might be, I want to stop biting my nails, or I want to start reading for 10 minutes before bed. The reason people are all like, resolutions don't work, is because they typically are not very specific. And if you don't take the time to break them down into projects, then they are harder to track. Resolutions can work. They're things you want to start or stop doing. So I have a resolution this year to start planning out my children's church lesson plans before Sunday, because I'm really bad about being like on Sunday and be like, oh, what should I teach my kids today? So I want to make sure this year, that's one of my resolutions, is to start planning my lessons ahead of time. So I want to get them done by Friday at the least, but Saturday would be fine, I guess. If it was going to be a goal, then I would be more specific with it. Like I want to get my lesson plans done by Friday, this many times throughout the year, or whatever. Resolutions tend to be a little more open-ended, just like I want to start doing this, or I want to stop doing that. I actually did a like goal setting workshop that I attended, and they told me the difference between these 4, and I was like, I understand things now, so I wanted to share that with you. Now, with your goals and your vision, where you want to start with your goals is your vision, is your long-term thought. So I always like to think, in 5 years, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to be doing? What kind of products do I want to have? How big do I want my audience to be? Where do I want to live? What vacations do I want to go on? Do I want to still be at this job, or do I want to be working somewhere else? Those are like long-term things. Do you want to have a new car? Do you want to have kids? Like those are things you want to think about for like long term. Now, when you're doing this like long-term vision, I want you to really think what you would love. Don't be practical and say like, oh, well, I can probably make like this much money. Just think like, in a perfect world, what would my life look like in 5 years? The reason is because if you start thinking about what's practical, then you're gonna kind of diminish those visions, and we don't want to diminish them. We don't want to play safe. We want them to be really big. So I want you to think just like, in a magical perfect world, what would my life be like in 5 years? So these are not like fancy SMART goals or anything like that. Then you want to go through and say, okay, for this year, what are specific things that I can do? What is the specific number that I want to hit in revenue? What are the specific amount of products I want to have to actually make this year happen? So that's kind of your like things. And your goal for like this year should be working towards that vision, which is why I always tell you, think about your 5 years and then think about what you need to do this year in order to kind of start going in that direction. Your vision is like your guiding star. It's your directions, it's where you're going. And then your goal is like what you're actually doing this year. So with that, I have 3 little tips. I'm gonna try to do this quickly because I am starving. I have 3 tips for how to actually make sure that you achieve your goals from a goal setting junkie. Number 1 is to split your goals down into projects. I talk about this a lot in my goal setting video, but with your goals, if you have, we're gonna go with this example because it's really easy. If you want to do like 100 products this year, then break that down into either quarters or months. I actually do both because I think it's easier to think about. So if I want to make 100 products this year, then I need to make 25 each quarter in order to hit 100 in the year. So now you're not thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed because I need to make all these products. You're thinking, okay, I need to do 25 in the next 3 months. That's a lot easier to look at. So I usually will set my goal and then I will come up with specific like bigger things that I want to accomplish. So like bigger products, lines, bigger money making things, just whatever. And I split them into quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then from there, I will actually assign them to different months. So I'm gonna show you, this is my bullet journal. I have a whole video about my bullet journal setup as well as this. But in here, I haven't actually done it yet. But today, my goal is to fill out my goals. So so it says like, I love this. Someone was like, why did you bother to do that and not just do it on separate pages? And I was like, because this is cool. But so I have like Becca's music room. So on here, I'm gonna write all my goals for Becca's music room. That's my TPT shop. How much money I want to make from it, and then like how many products I want to make sure that happens, and just kind of breaking it down. Then I will go through and I will say, okay, in quarter 1, I need to do this thing or that thing. So one of the things I want to do this year is I have an ebook of lessons for virtual music teachers, and I want to make it a physical book. So one thing I'm doing in quarter 1, because I want it to be as early as possible, is I am creating the physical book. So I'm going to send it to Amazon to get it actually published so people can like hold it in their hand. That is something I'm doing in quarter 1. And then in quarter 2, I will have different things going on, because then you can see kind of like how things are going to work. From there, I will do it monthly. Now, honestly, do you need to do it quarterly and monthly? No. But I just like to take it like from the year down to the quarter, down to the month, because it just makes sense in my head. You could just pick one of them, that's fine. And so I have another page of my bullet journal that literally just has the months of the year. You could do this on a notebook, you could do it on a piece of paper, I don't care. But each month I will write down those specific things. So one of the things that I know that I need to do in order to hit my income goal is to continue writing blog posts each week. Now I've been batching them. So in January it says batch blog posts because I know that's something I need to do. Why I think this is so helpful is because I now know in January I'm going to be really busy writing a crap ton of blog posts. So I'm not going to put other big things. I'm not going to be like, oh, I need to make this giant product line, or I need to do this or that, because I'm already really busy with doing this. So then I know if I want to make a bigger product line, then I'm going to skip January and I'm going to put that into February. I'm just going to break things down from my big year of what all I want to do this whole year into the months or into the quarters. You can pick one. I like to do both because I just think it helps to like narrow it down a little bit, and it gives you a little more leeway in case you decide not to do something. Then from this little thing that just has like batch blog posts or film these videos or whatever, then I will make a monthly plan, literally just on a notebook. I could probably do this in my bullet journal, but I don't, so because I like this notebook. Maybe I'll do that next year. And I just have, okay, so for Becca's music room, I have things like launch physical book, email the launch sequence, write all my blogs, schedule the blogs, get all the graphics done for the blogs. Those are all things that I'm writing in this month. And then I can see like, oh, crud, this is really long, so I'm not gonna do giant things for this YouTube channel this month because I'm really busy with other things. Write down what you want to do, and I've already got some things that are smaller, like in November. I have a couple Christmas resources I want to have out next year, so I already have those down for November, and it just helps you to see things more concisely. It's very overwhelming to look at the entire year and say like, I need to have this many products and I need to make this much money, but it's very easy and simple to look at this and say, okay, it's January, I need to write blog posts. Okay, it's November, I need to make my Christmas resources. It's just so much more practical, and these are like the little things that you can check off. And then I do this to make it more specific so that, you know, like I said, here it says batch blog posts. Here it's like, okay, I need to decide which blogs I'm gonna make. I need to write them. I need to schedule them. I need to do all the graphics. And so those things help me to keep a little more on track. So this is kind of like my overview for the year, and then this is more like the specific things that I actually need to get done. And again, they should probably be in the same notebook. It's whatever. Don't question me, but it's whatever. So take your big goal and split it down into projects. Number 2 is create checkpoints. So especially if you have goals that are not quite as specific as like, okay, write these blog posts. If you have like income goals, if you're like, I want to make this much money in a year, then you're gonna want to say, okay, in order to make this much in a year, I need to make this much each quarter or each month. And those are things you can check off. If you, again, want to make 100 products, break it down into 25 per quarter, which is about 8 to 10 each month. Those are things you can actually check off your list and say, okay, I hit that, I hit that, I hit that. The reason being, when you can check off each of those little checkpoints, then you know you're on track for the big goal. So if my goal is to make 100 products, and by the way, I'm picking 100 because it's just a nice round number. So if my goal is to make 100 products, then I can check them off as I go. And I'm not like just trying to get to 100. I can think, okay, I need to make 8 this month. That's a lot less stressful than 100, and or even bringing it down more. You might want to start with just making a list of which products you're gonna make this month. So that can be step 1, and that's something you can check off to get you a little bit closer. Having those checkpoints help you to see how far you've come, see what your next step is, and just to be less overwhelmed. And number 3 is that you want to keep it in front of you. So this is the number 1 thing, if I could tell you anything about getting to your goals, is to keep your goals in front of you. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can do a visual board, you can do like visualization, you can write about them in your journal, just whatever you can do. But the worst thing you can do is to write down your goals, stick them in a drawer, and never look at them again. Instead, make them into a poster. You can literally just write them down on a piece of paper and like tape it to your desk or put it on the wall. Or you can make a vision board. I made a vision board last year, and I thought it was gonna be stupid, but I actually really love it. And it just has pictures of places I wanna travel, and it has pictures of books because I want to write more books, and it has pictures of a piano because I want to buy a piano, and just different things like that. It has a car that I want to get, and just all these different things. And I have it on the wall, and I don't look at it like every single day, but every couple days I'll stop and I'll look at it, and it just reminds me about all the things that I want to do, and it gets me excited. So when I look at it, I'm like, ooh, we're gonna go to Australia, and oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna have a piano, and I'm gonna be able to play Christmas carols next year or in 2 years or whatever. Just having those pictures has really made me happy and kind of keep that in mind. And when I'm like, why am I doing this? Then I can look at that and be like, oh, I'm doing this because of these things that I want to accomplish. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna have a random goal for no reason. You always have a reason for your goal, so like keep that in front of you. Another thing you can do, I know Rachel Hollis preaches about writing down your 10 goals every single day. That's really stressful to me. It just seems like a little bit much. I do mine weekly, so each week when I do my planning, I will write down my 10 like top goals. They don't have to be for this year, they can be just like in general in life, and then I will plan through for my week. And I love doing that because then as I am writing down the specific things I need to do, I am directly thinking about what I want to do long term. So it just helps to like bridge that gap for me. You could, you know, do some visualization exercises. People talk about that, like visualizing in your brain, or I like to do mine like writing in my notebook, what you want your life to look like in 5 years and in 10 years, and when you have whatever the thing you're working towards is. But the point is, keep your goals front and center. Do not stick them in a drawer where you're never gonna look at them, because that's not helpful to anybody. The number one way to reach your goals is to see them and look at them and know what your goals are. That's gonna be the biggest thing to actually make sure they happen. Those are my quick little tips for helping you actually achieve your goals. I will leave the link to the goal setting video down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments how you make sure you achieve your goals. Do you have and how do you keep them in front of you? Do you have like a vision board? Do you like to write about them? Do you have pictures in your wallet? Like whatever, just leave them down below because I'm very curious. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.